A busy Saturday afternoon, shoppers on every corner, and then, out of nowhere, a car doing 80 miles per hour straight through the middle of it all. From drivers who thought a crowded parking lot was a shortcut to freedom, to people dragging ruined axles across the pavement. These are the moments when bad decisions turn busy city streets into a total, unscripted chaos. A Chevy Malibu caught doing nearly double the speed limit in Savannah ripped right through the busy corridor of Pennsylvania Avenue to dodge a state trooper. The driver took his mother's car and dove into a cramped parking lot, risking the lives of everyone walking on the pavement just to avoid catching a basic speeding ticket. He tried to squeeze the speeding Malibu through an exit gap that barely fit the chassis, miscalculating his trajectory at the last possible second. The car clipped a steel guardrail at high speed, launching the vehicle into a full, violent barrel roll. The driver really thought he was in a video game until gravity reminded him that Malibus aren't meant to fly. He traded a simple fine for a totaled car and a trip to the hospital, which is a massive L by any definition. The car flipped over multiple times before landing on its roof and immediately bursting into flames on the side of the road. It went from a routine traffic stop to a burning wreck in seconds, proving that his ego was way bigger than his driving skills. He's lucky he even walked away from that one after the car turned into a literal fireball. If you thought a burning Malibu was a bad way to end the day, wait until you see this rider try to play hide and seek at 100 miles per hour.
Get off the bike! Get off the bike! Get off the bike and get off! Get off the bike!
An Atlanta motorcyclist thought he could outsmart state troopers by weaving a tuned sport bike through dense afternoon traffic on Lee Street. He pushed the throttle way past 100 miles an hour, darting into the tight gaps between massive semi-trucks and taking blind sharp turns onto Oak Street just to break the line of sight. He played an incredibly dangerous game of cat and mouse for 15 minutes, dipping in and out of the city blocks like he owned the grid. He really had the nerve to claim he didn't even know the police were hunting him after he finally parked the bike and surrendered. The trooper's dash cam captured the rider repeatedly looking over his shoulder and actively dodging the cruiser, so that lie was cooked before he even said it. He'd spent 15 minutes acting like a ghost in the city, only to realize that the radio was way faster than his bike. It was a long run for a short slide, and now he's got all the time in the world to think about it in a cell.
Hey, get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back. What'd I do? What did you do?
Speaking of people who think they're invisible, this driver tried to turn a construction zone into his own personal escape room.
Through the construction area, losing it. He maintained it, he's corrected.
An undercover captain in Glendale started tracking a stolen Honda Accord the moment the driver fled from uniformed units.
Our undercover police captain was driving the black SUV ahead of our suspects.
The suspect floored the stolen ride right into a heavily restricted construction zone, swerving wildly to avoid orange barrels, massive concrete K-rails, and civilian workers. The tight grid forced the driver into making split-second steering corrections, and he eventually lost control of the rear end near a bridge overpass.
We're in the construction zone. There's nobody where we're at, and it looks like he's gonna have to drive potentially off a bridge.
Knowing the car was trapped, he made the desperate choice to bail out of the driver's seat and run.
We got one running towards the freeway. Do not move!
Trying to out-sprint coordinated police units on foot is a classic rookie mistake that never works out. The officers dragged him down onto the concrete before he could even hop the barrier, which had to be embarrassing with all those workers watching. He thought he was slick diving into a work zone, but he just ended up with dirt on his face and a guaranteed trip to booking. The car was left sitting there like a monument to his bad ideas while he got fitted for some new silver bracelets.
Dispatch confirmed that the vehicle was stolen, and officers later found drug paraphernalia inside.
The construction zone was a tight squeeze, but it didn't have anything on this snowy parking lot turned demolition derby.
As a stolen Toyota Highlander speeds through the city, refusing to stop for police.
In Wauwatosa, police pursued a stolen Toyota Highlander through slick, snow-covered neighborhood streets. The suspect refused to stop, eventually dodging off the main drag and diving right into a packed Nordstrom parking lot. He tried to weave the massive SUV between parked cars and holiday shoppers, using the slippery terrain to keep the cops from setting up a clean block. The slick conditions erased any grip he had left, making every turn a gamble with other people's property.
5 patrol cars chased the suspect through snowy streets as he weaved into neighborhoods.
He really used that heavy Highlander as a battering ram, slamming into a civilian truck and another SUV while trying to force his way out of a tight bottleneck. He treated a crowded retail hub like a demolition derby, risking everyone walking to their cars just to save his own skin. The police played the tactical game, waiting for the snow and the parked cars to limit his exits before finally boxing him in tight against a snowbank. That repair bill for the Nordstrom customers is going to be wild, but at least the driver's off the streets.
Eyes on the car. I got the car.
If you thought snow was a problem for grip, try running a police chase while missing an entire wheel. A stolen car suspect in Tacoma tore through packed city streets and blew through red lights with police hot on his tail. He pushed the sedan way past its physical limits, aggressively weaving through heavy oncoming traffic to break the line of sight. The stress on the chassis was too much, and the front wheel snapped right off the axle, detaching mid-intersection and rolling away while the driver kept going. He didn't even flinch when the car dropped onto the rotor and started throwing sparks. Most people would throw in the towel the second their car turned into a tripod, but this guy had a totally different game plan. He kept his foot pinned to the floorboard, driving on the bare metal rim and sending a massive shower of sparks into the night air while dodging civilian bumpers. The pursuing officers kept their distance, letting him fight the friction until they timed a clean PIT maneuver. They spun the three-wheeled hazard out of control, proving that running on a ruined chassis is a one-way ticket to a massive L. That rim was screaming for help, but this next crew was screaming for air after catching some over a residential curb. Troopers in Atlanta rolled up on a black and yellow Chrysler, shutting down a busy intersection to do donuts in the middle of the day. The moment the sirens echoed off the buildings, the teenagers inside panicked and turned a careless traffic stunt into a desperate high-speed flight. They traded a simple slap on the wrist for a masterclass in how to wreck a suspension by treating neighborhood streets like a rally stage.
Traffic here at the light. He went through the parking lot and he's showing uniform metropolitan.
The driver pushed the car way too fast into a blind corner and launched the 2-ton vehicle over a concrete curb. The impact shattered the undercarriage and blew out a front tire, instantly taking the car from a flashy ride to a very expensive piece of scrap metal, sitting dead in a front yard. He really thought he was him for a second until gravity stepped in to collect the debt. You can see the moment they realized they were cooked as the car settled into the grass with the cops surrounding them. It's a heavy price to pay for a few seconds of clout that ended with a wrecked car and felony charges. That suspension was never the same, and this next driver's dignity was never the same after trying to hide at a Burger King. A driver in a white Chevy Impala caught the attention of Clayton County deputies after making a series of highly questionable lane changes on a congested main road.
You're making a right turn. You're back on terrible.
The second the cruiser lit up the overheads, the guy decided his best evasion tactic was to whip a hard right and blast straight through a Burger King parking lot. He clearly thought cutting behind the restaurant and threading the needle past the drive-through line would somehow make the patrol vehicles vanish. He tried to take a heavy sedan off-road to save himself a traffic citation and paid the price instantly, catching an L for a maneuver that lacked any basic logic. He merged back onto the main artery, caught way too much speed, and launched his Impala straight into a deep roadside ditch. The cops didn't even have to chase him at that point. They just had to wait for the tow truck. It was a wild decision to prioritize a fast food shortcut over actual driving, and now he's paying for it in court. The ditch was deep, but this next driver found himself in an even tighter spot. A guy got caught shoplifting at a Forsyth County Walmart and decided his best getaway vehicle was a massive, clunky U-Haul box truck. He led deputies onto the highway, but they quickly threw down spike strips and shredded his front right tire. Even with the bare rim grinding into the pavement, he kept his foot on the gas and tried to use the heavy truck as a battering ram. Running from the cops is bad enough, but doing it in a rented moving truck is just embarrassing. He eventually lost control, crashed into a grassy median, and tried to sprint away on foot. The officers chased him down and played Ring Around the Rosie with a parked car before finally cuffing him. The spectators literally cheered as the cops walked him away, adding a heavy dose of public humiliation to his massive L. A U-Haul truck definitely lacked the horsepower for a clean escape, but this next suspect had plenty of speed and zero common sense. An armed suspect in Tallahassee carjacked a homeowner for his black pickup truck and immediately led the highway patrol on a reckless chase. The guy pushed the stolen truck well past 100 miles an hour on a tight two-lane road, forcing oncoming traffic to swerve onto the shoulder just to survive. The trooper stayed glued to his bumper, refusing to give him an inch of breathing room. You can't outrun a radio, and you definitely can't outrun the highway patrol when they have a straight line on you. He treated a residential road like a closed circuit, fully ignoring the fact that a heavy pickup handles terribly at those speeds. He thought he was untouchable behind the wheel of that stolen truck, but he just fast-tracked himself into multiple felony charges. He bet it all on a joyride and ended up in the red.